Number 1. In this question, you will be asked to talk about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare a response and 45 seconds to record the response. What characteristics do you think make someone a good parent? Explain why these characteristics are important to you.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Begin speaking after the beep.
The two most important characteristics of a good parent is, for one, the ability to be strict, and the second characteristic is love, because strictness is really important because the child of that parent can follow the parent's lead, and the parent sets an example and is like an ideal to look up to. And if the parent is loving and caring, the child can succeed and believe in itself. And that's the most important characteristic of a parent.
I think that parents should trust a lot their children, because it's very important among a family, and they also have to listen to their children, especially when they are teenage, because it's very important. They can have a lot of problem and they are growing. So, but last but not least, they must communicate a lot with their children, because it's that for these children may be better understand.
Number 2. In this question, you will be asked to talk about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare a response and 45 seconds to record the response. Some students prefer to work on class assignments by themselves. Others believe it is better to work in a group. Which do you prefer? Explain why.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Begin speaking after the beep.
If I work on a class assignment, I prefer to work on myself better than to work in a group, simply because I like to do things the way I see them. For example, sometimes I've got very particular opinions on a topic, and I really want to express them. If I'm working in a group, I have to adjust to other people's opinions. And I can monitor my time on my own. I'm quite good at that and like to have a very structured approach to things and finish things at certain times. If I always have to rely on other people in a group, things might not be finished at the time I want them to be finished. So I prefer to work on my own.
Both of these assignments have their good things. So first of all, in the group you have different ideas and everybody knows something else from a topic, and you can yes. Another point is that you have more time for other things and you don't have to do everything by your own. But alone, it's better. You are independent and you can
Number 3. In this question, you will read a short passage, listen to a talk, and answer a question about them. After you hear the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare a response and 60 seconds to record the response. The university's Dining Services Department has announced a change. Read an announcement about this change. You will have 45 seconds to read the announcement. Begin reading now. Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
Do you believe any of this? It's ridiculous.
What do you mean? Well, it is important to eat healthy foods.
Sure it is. But they're saying yogurt's better for you than an omelet or than hot cereal? I mean, whether something's hot or cold, that shouldn't be the issue. Except maybe on a really cold morning. In that case, which is going to be better for you? A bowl of cold cereal or a nice warm omelet? It's obvious. There's no question.
No, I'm not going to argue with you there.
And this whole thing about saving money.
What about it?
Well, they're actually going to make things worse for us, not better. Because if they start cutting back and we can't get what we want right here on campus, well, we're going to be going off campus and pay off-campus prices. And you know what? That'll be expensive. Even if it's only 2 or 3 mornings a week, it can add up.
The woman expresses her opinion of the change that has been announced. State her opinion and explain her reasons for holding that opinion. Begin to prepare your response after the beep.
Begin speaking after the beep.
The woman has the opinion that the whole new food change is pretty ridiculous because she thinks it's no issue if the food is hot or cold in concern of what is healthy or not, because she says on a cold day it's much better to eat something warm like a soup or an omelette instead of yogurt or bread or only some fruits, because when it's cold you could get sick. And she also thinks that there is no chance of saving money in this new program, this new dining service change, because she will go off campus, and other students too will go off campus to get food that they like, and that will come more expensive than if they would just stay on the campus and eat the food they would get there. So she has the opinion that the dining change is pretty ridiculous because she would like warm food.
First of all, she thinks that if food is healthy or not doesn't depend on if it's cold or warm. Then she says the difficulty is if the university stops serving hot food in the morning. It is like and the offer is there are less offer for choosing breakfast, and if it's a cold morning and you come to university and want to eat something hot, you want to warm up, and there's no warm food to eat, that is horrible. Someone might be not able to get used to it. And the last thing she refers to is about the money, that it's very expensive then to go out to eat off campus and buy hot food.
Number 4. In this question, you will read a short passage, listen to a talk, and answer a question about them. After you hear the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare a response and 60 seconds to record the response. Read the passage from a sociology textbook. You have 50 seconds to read the passage. Begin reading now. Now listen to part of a lecture about this topic in a sociology class.
This is a true story from my own life. In my first year in high school, I was addicted to video games. I played them all the time, and I wasn't studying enough. I was failing chemistry. That was my hardest class. So this was a conflict for me because I wanted a good job when I grew up, and I knew that if you want a good career, you got to do well in school. But I just couldn't give up video games. I was completely torn. And my solution was to change my perspective. See, the only class I was doing really badly in was chemistry. In the others, I was okay. So I asked myself if I wanted to be a chemist when I grew up. And the fact is, I didn't. I was pretty sure I wanted to be a sociologist. So I told myself my chemistry class didn't matter, because sociologists don't really need to know chemistry. In other words, I changed my understanding of what it meant to do well in school. I reinterpreted my situation. I used to think that doing well in school meant doing well in all my classes, but now I decided that succeeding in school meant only doing well in the classes that related directly to my future career. I eliminated the conflict, at least in my mind.
Using the example discussed by the professor, explain what cognitive dissonance is and how people often deal with it. Begin to prepare your response after the beep.
Begin speaking after the beep.
Cognitive dissonance is a conflict between your actions and your beliefs. As a consequence of this conflict, you don't change your actions, but you just change your interpretation of your situation. For example, the lecturer of sociology was addicted to video games in his first university year. And he was bad at chemistry, and he just couldn't give up playing video games, so he said to himself, well, why do I need chemistry? I'm going to be a sociologist. I'm quite bad at chemistry, but it doesn't matter. I just change the perspective and reinterpret the situation, and so everything is okay, and my future is safe.
Cognitive dissonance is when there's a contradiction between actions that people do and their belief. So, for example, if someone is addicted to video games, but he can't stop it, although he's writing really bad marks at school, and he just can't stop it, then he begins to make up his own opinion. For example, that he says that his bad marks in chemistry are not that bad for him because he doesn't want to do anything with chemistry later in life, and so it doesn't really matter what his marks are like. And
Number 5. In this question, you will listen to a conversation and answer a question about it. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare a response and 60 seconds to record the response. Listen to a conversation between two students.
Hey, Marnie, what's wrong?
Oh, I'm just struggling about what to do. I won an award from the Creative Writing Institute for a story I wrote, and...
That doesn't sound like anything's wrong.
Well, it's a huge honor to win, and there's an awards ceremony they've invited me to attend, which I'm so excited about, and here's what's frustrating. I've got a biology exam that's scheduled for the same time.
Uh-oh. Well, have you talked to your professor about this?
Yeah, she said I could write a 5-page paper instead, and I have lots of ideas and know I could do a good job, but...
But what?
Well, writing a paper would take up so much time, a lot more time than studying for and taking the exam. I have lots of other schoolwork to deal with.
Oh. Or you could have someone else receive the award for you. I mean, go in your place and accept it on your behalf.
Maybe. I'd still get the award and the money that way.
Ooh, you won money too?
Yeah, pretty cool, huh? But anyways, my parents were really looking forward to coming and seeing me on stage, shaking hands with the Institute's president and all. I'd hate to disappoint them.
True. I'm sure they're really proud.
Like I said, I'm still struggling about what to do.
The speakers discuss two possible solutions to the woman's problem. Briefly summarize the problem, then state which of the solutions you recommend and explain why. Begin to prepare your response after the beep.
Begin speaking after the beep.
Now, the woman has won an award and was invited to an award ceremony, which happens at the same time as an important exam, a biology exam. And she talked to her professor, who said she could write a paper to make up for the missed exam. And her friend suggests that somebody could accept the award on her behalf so she can take the exam. Now, she's not yet made up her mind what she wanted to do. I would recommend her to go and accept the award in person and then write the paper. She says, it's so much more work, but then it's really emotionally important for her to be on the stage and for her parents as well. And hard work never has hurt anybody. So I would go ahead and take the award, accept the award myself, and then write the paper.
The woman doesn't know what to do. She wants to take the exam, but she also wants to take the reward. She wants to be there on stage, particularly when her parents will be there, especially because their parents will be there. And she really doesn't want to write a 5 pages essay, because that will take a lot of time, and she has to prepare for the other exams. I think I would write a 5 pages exam and essay, and I would not go to take the exam.
Number 6. In this question, you will listen to part of a lecture and answer a question about it. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare a response and 60 seconds to record the response. Now listen to part of a lecture in a psychology class. The professor is discussing advertising strategies.
In advertising, various strategies are used to persuade people to buy products. In order to sell more products, advertisers will often try to make us believe that a product will meet our needs or desires perfectly, even if it's not true. The strategies they use can be subtle, friendly forms of persuasion that are sometimes hard to recognize. In a lot of ads, repetition is a key strategy. Research shows that repeated exposure to a message, even something meaningless or untrue, is enough to make people accept it or see it in a positive light. You've all seen the car commercials on TV, like the one that refers to its roomy cars over and over again. You know which one I mean. This guy is driving around and he keeps stopping to pick up different people. He picks up 3 or 4 people, and each time the narrator says, "Plenty of room for friends, plenty of room for family, plenty of room for everybody." The same message is repeated several times in the course of the commercial. Now the car actually looks kind of small. It's not a very big car at all, but you get the sense that it's pretty spacious. You'd think that the viewer would reach the logical conclusion that the slogan misrepresents the product. Instead, what usually happens is that when the statement "plenty of room" is repeated often enough, people are actually convinced it's true. Another strategy they use is to get a celebrity to advertise a product. It turns out that we're more likely to accept an advertising claim made by somebody famous, a person we admire and find appealing. We tend to think they're trustworthy. So you might have a car commercial that features a well-known race car driver. Now, it may not be a very fast car. It could even be an inexpensive vehicle with a low performance rating. But if a popular race car driver is shown driving it and saying, "I like my cars fast," then people will believe the car is impressive for its speed.
Using the examples from the talk, explain how persuasive strategies are used in advertising. Begin to prepare your response after the beep.
Begin speaking after the beep.
The psychology professor presents 2 techniques employed in advertising strategy meant to send subtle messages to the watching customer, and she underlines these strategies and the techniques employed in them through examples from car advertising. Technique 1 that she is referring to is repetition of a certain feature of a car, which might cause to believe the car actually has this feature, even though we do not obviously recognize it when seeing the car. In her example, the size. The second technique is to use a celebrity, which we might feel appealing or trustworthy about, which can also transmit a feature of a car to us that we would not perceive ourselves.
Persuasive strategies are used in advertising to improve the reputation. For example, if one message is repeated all the time, for example, lots of your friends have space in it, the listener is convenienced with it. Another strategy is that firm persons are related in their advertising, because we trust the famous persons and we know their faces, and so we believe what they are saying. That's all.